If one night you get lost in the desert, where the wind lashes your face like 1,000 tiny blades, where the sky hangs heavy with stars yet feels cold as metal, you may hear a strange sound the nomads describe in a hoarse whisper. It is not quite the howl of wind. It is more like a breath being held back, as if something is standing right behind you, close enough that even an imagined warmth makes the hair on your neck rise. And at the exact moment you turn, you see the campfire tilt, the flames suddenly changing direction as though an invisible hand has bent it. In that instant, a question slams into your chest like a hammer. Are Djinn real, or is this only the desert turning human fear into a shape that can whisper, promise, and bargain in the currency of wishes? Long before there were maps, before humans drew straight lines to carve the world into borders, the desert was already a kingdom with its own laws. By day it blazes like a sword pulled from its sheath, forcing tears from your eyes. By night it becomes deep and dark like a bottomless well. Out there, anything can become an illusion. A column of dust becomes an army. A gust becomes your name being called. A falling star becomes a sign of fate. Those who cross the dunes learn a simple, ruthless truth. Wherever humans cannot control, imagination will invent invisible masters. And from that land, the story of Djinn was born, not as a sweet fairy tale, but as a sentence hanging above every step. Picture a young traveler, not wealthy, not powerful, carrying only a leather water skin and a pride as hot as the sun. He leaves the caravan because he believes he is stronger than sand, faster than wind, smarter than warnings. When sunset falls, the desert changes its voice. The wind softens, yet the silence grows heavier, as if the world is holding its breath to hear him make a mistake. Then he finds an old well, half buried, sealed by a stone engraved with unfamiliar symbols. His heart jumps with relief. Water, life, a way out. But that well does not only keep water, it keeps something else, deeper than thirst. He drags the capstone aside. A cold smell rises like breath from the earth. He lowers a bucket, and the rope trembles as if something has touched it, as if the well is answering without words. When the bucket returns, it is not only water. Inside lies a round object, like a heart turned to stone, black as night, polished like a mirror. In a moment of foolish curiosity, he touches it, and the air around him feels as if it has been torn. A hiss blooms, not a sound, but a sensation. The sand beneath his feet shivers like a nest of small creatures. From the well mouth, black smoke pours out, curling, thickening, then rising upright like a pillar. And inside the smoke are eyes. Not human eyes. No whites, no warmth, only two green points of light, like fireflies trapped in a bottle. A Djinn does not appear like a human. It does not walk. It pours into the world. It does not look at you the way a person does. It forces its presence onto you until you feel smaller than a grain of sand. The most terrifying thing is not its shape, but the sense that it has lived too long, so long, that every human promise sounds like a child's game. Its voice, if it can be called a voice, speaks inside the traveler's mind. It does not ask who he is. It does not need to. It speaks as though it has been waiting since before he was born. It says it has been bound beneath this well by an oath, a symbol, a sacred name carved into stone. It says there are 3 wishes, like a debt that must be paid to the one who frees it. Then it delivers the line that makes every Djinn story dangerous. A wish will always be granted, but never in the way you intend. The young traveler, mouth dry with sand, greed burning through fear, speaks his first wish. He wishes for water enough to survive. The Djinn nods, and suddenly the wind changes direction. Clouds gather, heavy as stone. Rain crashes down on the desert, not like salvation, but like anger. Water rips through sand, turning paths into mud, erasing tracks as if an invisible hand has wiped the world clean. The well overflows and collapses. The traveler has water, yes, but he loses direction, signs, and any certainty of return. The wish is granted, and the cost is signed with the very water he asked for. For his second wish, he asks for wealth, so he will never wander again. Servants, a great tent, a line of camels, respect in every gaze. The Djinn smiles, a smile without joy, and lifts its unseen hand. In the rain, bright things appear at the traveler's feet. Gold, jewelry, ancient coins. But gold is heavy. It drags him down into the mud, pinning him like a chain. The rain intensifies. The mud rises. The treasure he had celebrated becomes stone on his chest. In that moment, he learns the desert's cold truth. Everything has weight, especially dreams. By the third wish, he is trembling. He stares into those green, merciless lights and wants to wish cleverly. He thinks of freedom. He thinks of binding the Djinn itself. But as soon as the thought sparks, he realizes something worse. The Djinn knows his thought before he can shape it, the way wind knows where sand will fly. Now the question is no longer what to wish for, but how to survive the wish at all. He wishes to return home, to the exact place he left, whole and unharmed. The Djinn nods. The smoke coils in. Sand spirals into a circle. Light flashes. And the traveler vanishes. At dawn, the caravan finds him lying on a stretch of sand, not far from where he first departed. He truly has returned, exactly as he asked, but his eyes are wide open and unblinking. His skin is covered in hairline cracks like dried earth. When someone touches him, he collapses into sand, as if he had never been human. The wish is granted. He comes home, whole in a way only the Djinn understands. Stories like this, told around a fire, are not meant for entertainment. They are survival signs. In the world of the Djinn, humans are not allowed to wish like children. A Djinn, if it exists, is not a friendly spirit handing out gifts. It is a ruthless mirror, reflecting what lies deepest in you. Greed, fear, the fatal imprecision of words, and the habit of believing the universe must understand what you meant. This is where we enter the second layer of the myth, where Djinn are not merely monsters in a tale, but part of a worldview. In many traditions across the Middle East and North Africa, Djinn are not simply ghosts. They are unseen beings living alongside humans, with their own communities, laws, and varieties of good and evil. Not every Djinn harms people. Some protect. Some deceive. Some are as indifferent as nature itself. But they share one thing. They have will, and that will not serve anyone unless it is bound by a name, a symbol, an oath. This is the crucial detail. What binds a Djinn in old stories is not brute force, but language, the true name, the exact phrase, the oath spoken correctly. The desert turns words into weapons, because between wind and sand, meaning is the last tool humans possess to resist chaos. Why, then, are Djinn so tightly linked to wishes? Because wishing is humanity's oldest instinct, the desire to make the world bend to our will. The desert, with its terrible indifference, is the perfect teacher of the opposite lesson. You can beg, pray, hope, but the sand still moves, the night stays cold, water remains scarce. In that context, the idea of a being that can warp reality becomes both irresistible and cursed. The Djinn is an imagined escape door, except the hinge hides a blade. There is another layer. Every wish is a contract, and every contract contains loopholes. In many tales, the Djinn does not lie in a crude way. It gives you exactly what you asked for only not what you meant. So who is wrong? The human is wrong, for believing intention matters more than wording, while the universe or the Djinn listens only to the literal shape of language. This is why the Djinn becomes a symbol of the danger of shortcuts. You want an outcome without the price of the path. You want power without responsibility. The myth answers with a cold smile. Fine, here is what you asked for, and here is its shadow. If you have seen the twisted wish motif in modern culture short stories, films, pop myths, you are seeing the Djinn's descendants. The lucky charm that backfires, the machine that grants desires, the deal signed with darkness. All are distant relatives. Yet the Djinn differs in one key way. It is not necessarily pure evil. It is more like a conscious law of nature. It punishes carelessness, not only moral failure. It forces you to learn precision, consequence, and the cost of interfering with order. Now return to the central question. Are Djinn truly invisible beings, or merely spiritual echoes born from the desert? If we view Djinn as a psychological phenomenon, they may be how ancient people explained what they could not understand. The desert creates mirages. Heat makes the air tremble, turning far into near, shadow into form. Wind through rock gaps can sound like voices. And in exhaustion, the mind can build presences out of nothing. A person lost from the caravan, deprived of water and sleep, body failing, may hear their name, may see eyes in the dark. Then the retelling becomes myth. Djinn, in this reading, is the name for the boundary between perception and hallucination, between reality and dream that the desert constantly blurs. But if Djinn were only hallucinations, why would these stories endure so fiercely? Because they touch a timeless fear, the fear of being deceived by our own desire. People do not only fear monsters outside, they fear the self within, because if given power, that self might destroy itself. At the deepest level, Djinn warns that no wish is innocent. Even a good wish is still an intervention, and every intervention carries consequences. Consider another angle. Djinn as the symbol of repressed longing. The desert's scarcity makes desire expand. When you lack water, water becomes sacred. When you lack safety, protection becomes miracle. When you lack power, power becomes something you dream can be given. The Djinn appears as a broker between you and what you lack. But because it is desire, it is always distorted. You think you want money, but what you truly want is respect. You think you want immortality, but what you truly fear is being forgotten. The Djinn twists wishes because you have spoken the wrong name for your real hunger. Then there is the third reading, darker and more seductive. Djinn as inhabitants of the borderland, the border between the seen and unseen, between civilization and wilderness, between order and chaos. The desert is such a borderland. It is not fully dead, yet it does not easily allow life. It forces humans to survive through rules, caravans, rituals. And wherever humans build ritual to survive, they also build myth to protect the spirit. In this sense, the Djinn is the invisible gatekeeper of the threshold. When you walk into the desert, you enter a territory that does not belong to you. The Djinn is the desert's message. Do not assume you are the center. You can see this reflected in modern life. We no longer get lost on Camelback, but we still get lost in other deserts. An information desert where every feed is a hot wind pushing you. An ambition desert where everyone wants a wish called instant success. A loneliness desert where even a whisper online can become a voice in your head. In each of these deserts, the modern Djinn appears in another form. The promise that you can have everything immediately if you sign something, tap something, trade away a part of yourself. Popular culture often reduces the Djinn into a cheerful genie, glowing and funny, granting 3 wishes and ending with laughter. But at its roots, the Djinn is far darker. It is not meant to make you laugh. It is meant to make you careful with your mouth, your heart, your childish belief that the universe is a convenience store. The original Djinn is not friendly. It is solemn like a sandstorm, mysterious like the desert night. And if it helps you, it helps according to its law, not your comfort. Return once more to the fire. Picture the nomads seated in a circle, children pressed into their mothers' cloaks, elders staring beyond the flame. They do not tell Djinn stories to frighten children into sleep. They tell them to teach survival. Do not walk alone at night. Do not touch what is sealed. Do not speak names you do not understand. Do not open a lid without knowing what waits inside. And most of all, do not wish carelessly. Because a wish in these stories is not a cute spell. It is a declaration. It tells the universe what you want, and once you speak it, you bind yourself to it. The Djinn, whether real or imagined, represents the moment you face your rawest longing and are asked the question, if you were given power, who would you become? Would you use it to heal or to compensate? Do you want to save others or to prove you are above them? In many versions, the wisest person is not the one who wishes the most, but the one who refuses. Some travelers hear the offer and answer with silence, with prayer, with the simple act of closing the lid again. They choose scarcity with freedom over abundance with invisible chains. It is not a glamorous ending, but it is true to the desert. Survival is victory, not possession. And here is where the Djinn becomes most unsettling. If Djinn are spiritual echoes of the desert, that echo still lives inside us. Every time we seek a shortcut, every time we trust a promise that is too perfect, every time we try to turn life into 3 wishes, we are calling the Djinn in the language of our era. We are opening another bottle, perhaps a phone screen, a contract, a dream of overnight transformation, and inviting into our lives a force we do not fully understand. But if Djinn are truly real, if somewhere in the unwalked dunes there are invisible presences wandering among ruins and hot winds, then the story becomes even more terrifying. Because then the wish is not merely metaphor, it is a living trap. It waits for humans the way the desert waits for the arrogant. It does not chase you. It only needs patience. Sooner or later, someone will believe they are special, believe they are the exception, believe they can bind the universe with words. And at that moment, the Djinn will smile. So what are Djinn? Invisible beings, embodiments of wishes, or spiritual echoes? Perhaps the most frightening answer is that they are all 3, depending on where you stand. Outside the desert, Djinn are legend. Inside the desert, lost, thirsty, alone, Djinn becomes possibility. Inside your own mind, between a wish and its price, Djinn becomes a mirror. And as the fire dies down and the night wind pushes sand toward the circle, remember the final whisper like a light curse. The Djinn does not need to appear for you to meet it. The moment you believe a wish can solve everything, you have already stepped into its domain. The desert is still there, endless, cold, silent beneath the stars. The Djinn, if it exists, is still there too. But the greatest danger is not out there. The greatest danger is the part of you that wants to call it. And the question that keeps this myth alive is not, are Djinn real? But if the Djinn truly hears your wish, would you dare speak it? And more importantly, are you certain you understand what you want? Because in the world of the Djinn, a wish is not a miracle. It is the verdict of your own craving. And sometimes the most dangerous invisible thing is not a creature in the sand, but the voice in your heart whispering, "Go on, just wish. Everything will be fine."